have people that speak Yoruba, people that speak Hausa, people that speak Igbo, and every other. They have them there, waiting for Nigerians. So those phone calls you make to your siblings out there, and you speak your own language, believing that Igbo will not understand, you are wasting your time. You know they do. Once they tap your phone, they get everything. That's why when they are picking people from China, you think, these people are too open-minded. They are using them for their system against even you. So so we need French, and that was why I introduced French, because I feel that we can't run away from that fact. How many of our children can speak French language? Because that deficit that is in public service, even in the academia, is even there at the lowest rung of the ladder. How many of them growing up can speak another language? We don't train them so to do. We don't even think that it's important. But it is always an advantage, even amongst you here. You may not need it here, but here it can always be an advantage. You'll be amazed. But if there's a training in Chad tomorrow, how many of you can go? Automatically, you have marked yourself bad because you can't communicate. But any single person here, if the DG wants to go, DG says, oh yeah, come, let's go. It's a plus, amongst other things. So there must be a systematic training policy. I've heard you talk about World Health Organization. Go to the net and get that training program in order to even make an application. Can I? The unserious mind will always sit quiet and wait for his or her boss to find out where the next training is available. But the serious mind will find it out and bring it to the organ. I know what bosses do. I've seen that play out my years in the service. Some the boss will confiscate and use for himself or herself. That is the truth of the matter. You are not saying yes now because but you know that is the truth. You bring it out and give to him or her, he will keep it. The next day he will take it to the DJ and say, DJ, I want to attend this one. But it's your own. No? But he cannot take so much away from you. There will come a time where he will tell you, you are trying, you are able to be bringing out all these things. Oh yeah, make we push this one for you. And that works for you. But that is the way the training in public service, I don't know about this place, but in government, that is the way it works. But more importantly, because we are in this state of financial quagmire in this country at this point in time, there are so many places where leaders can get, apart from World Bank and the rest of them, there are so many. When I was DG, I was sending my staff all over the world. I was not paying 1 naira. I was sending them all over the world. What I did, I just glued myself to the National Planning, Ministry of National Planning. Got somebody there, and they would always tell you where there is an opening. Master's degree training in Korea, South Korea. This in China, this in this place, this in this place. 6 months here. I never paid 1 naira. But they were all over the world. They were all over. The government of the receiving states were prepared to pay for them, and they do pay. Those opportunities still abound. They don't evaporate overnight. These are some of those things that you have to look out for. For a serious-minded person that wants to grow in the system, that wants to build sufficient capacity that enable the person to move up the ladder. You want to be one day, if there's any one of you here who is not aspiring to be the CEO of this place, you should not be here. If you are not aspiring that one day you can become the CEO of this place, then this is not a place for you to be. You must have that ambition. It is not inordinate. You must have that ambition. And the only way to have that ambition is to make sure that you are eminently qualified, you have built up your credentials in such an intimidating way. And at the end of the day, you will say, if it is by credentials, I am qualified. The rest can be politics. So your work ethics will be geared towards moving in such a direction that at the end of the day, you want yourself to. I talked about supervision and discipline for senior staff, amongst others. And I also talked about the transparent reward system. Anyway, I say these people always, when I did this with Standard Organization of Nigeria, people always want to talk about the reward system. Salary may be good, but what are the allowances? What are the other facilities that naturally will come into it, amongst other things? So I also take it that you are better placed than others. Now I'll move on to leadership by example. I talked about leaders. Leaders, not the chief executive, but leaders in their various spheres of influence. There are various, at any point in time, everybody is a leader. At every point in time, and that is, anytime I'm invited to speak on leadership in Africa or anywhere, I try to make this point. Everybody is a leader in your own right. And that is the work ethics. Even if you did not school there, but you have visited. One thing I enjoy anytime I'm in UK, even when I did my master's and doctorate in London School of Economics, I find joy in seeing people in the thick of winter, in the early hours of the morning, cleaning the tube stations. It gives me a lot of thrill, so to speak, that people are doing this. That dignity of labor. That dignity of labor is something that you cannot question. We find it difficult to achieve similar thing in this country. Because everybody wants to be big at the same time. Nobody wants to play small at any level. And that, again, is not good. But we need that kind of leadership that will help us to achieve some of these things. Is it not commonplace for staff to say, I will not go to work today because my boss is out? Occasionally you ask yourself, does it really make sense for you to tell your secretary that I will not be in the office tomorrow? What I've noticed is that in many places, don't you have a friend who is a chief executive that you can phone? The person will tell you that he's in Lagos. If you go to his office, the staff will say, we don't know where he is, so maybe he's coming. What it means that many people now make it a policy not to tell people that they are going anywhere. Why? Because in some offices, once the boss is out, the office is empty. Must we revolve what we do around some other person? The boss must have lived his life. The boss has done his own duty. You are doing yours, and you are just standing up to do that. So I just mentioned the indicators as discipline, punctuality, efficiency, effectiveness, teamwork. Teamwork is very, very important. And I need to emphasize that word, teamwork. Nobody can do it all alone. No, teamwork is so good that you may not be my friend, though, but if we are put together to work, we must work. Teamwork does not mean that you have to be friends in order to do a teamwork. It does not mean that you need to be friends, but the work must be done. That work must be done. We don't need to be friends. So you just have to have that at the back of your mind. And if it fails, it's not the leader of the team that fails, all of you collectively. So learn to appreciate that teamwork is very, very critical. And learn to advise your colleague as the case may be. Now, as I'm rounding up, I'll talk about the reward system. Occasionally, when I try to do this, I make sure that the chief executive is around. In some places I've been to, but I'm sure that he will get to know what reward must be given to, or regard must be given to a reward system that appreciates work ethics. What have I done? To bend the rules or to circumvent certain things? I have circumvented in my own time. I have circumvented. If your promotion is for 3 years on one cadre, I've given promotions 2 years. I've done so. And I've dared anybody to question that. Because there must be something, that there must be a reward in the system that can obviously help to motivate others. And so that when you are talking about work ethics, you are not talking about that. So if I've seen that you've given more than enough to the system, I don't have to wait for 3 years in order to promote you. I have done so and I've defended that, and that is the situation. I believe that any credible institution can do so. Any credible institution can do so. Because there's nothing that motivates people. If I do this, I will achieve this, I will get this. Nothing more than that. Any other thing we're saying here is hogwash if it is not backed up by a reward system. It's hogwash. Because somebody must look up to something. Somebody must look forward to something. We don't need to talk about the usual appreciation that people talk about. End of year, DGs, award for this, that can come. But there's none that is as influential, so to speak, or impactful as the reward system. The reward system can be in so many ways. You've done so well. I am your immediate boss. I'm not the chief executive. You've done so well. And there's an opening somewhere for somebody to travel for something. Who can you nominate? Immediately, nominate Alu. For reasons I've all said. If you think that there is no such thing in public service, you are wasting your time. You are missing the point. It's not favoritism. It's not nepotism. It's not based on ethnicism or any of those things. Based on hard work. He works so hard. He works so hard. Please give him the opportunity. So it need not be promotion. So recognition, appreciation comes in different ways, but all geared towards motivating a staff that works very, very hard. And I've talked about introducing examination or interview, as the case may be. I don't know whether yours is examination or interview or any other thing. But when I promote you for 2 years, I exempt you from everything. It is my prerogative, it's my discretion. And I'm exercising it as the chief executive. I exercise it as the chief executive. And it is done in such a way that even every other member of staff will say, well deserved. Well deserved, because the person has been so eminently proficient and efficient that all can say, well deserved. So it is now for you to ask yourself, if there's going to be anything of that nature at this point in time, do I fit into it? That is the soul-searching question. Do I fit into such a situation that if there's anything now happening in Bpe, my immediate boss can say, yes, I can fit into this category of people that. And the only way to achieve this is through your performance evaluation annually and otherwise. I'm sure you have your APA forms. Do you go through APA forms? Yes. And do you allow, the bosses, do they allow you to see the recommendations they make?
Yes.
And you have the right to react to it?
Yes.
Fine. Those are very critical. Those are very, very critical. So I am happy that you have the opportunity, because in some places they don't allow them. So bosses will just be working engine on you behind the scene, and you will not know. So when it is made transparently open that you can see the recommendations of your immediate boss, and then you can react to that, that means that it is as transparent as it can be. But over and above that is the point made by my friend that just left us here about monitoring of staff. Again, that is the challenge of leadership. The challenge of leadership everywhere is to monitor, to know what your staff is doing and what. I told you that occasionally I walk around to see what is going on. But that is cosmetic, you know that. You can never monitor anything by just walking around to see what is going on. And this is a very massive place, so to speak. But monitoring means that once in a while we are assembled like this and we ask questions. I used to do that a lot. I assemble the staff and then we all meet for performance evaluation, and so the head of the directorates or the department will come and give us briefing on each and every one of the staff. When you are not up there, it is not me as the Director General that gets to know. Everybody gets to know. But when you have done so well and the performance evaluation is put in the public domain and the monitoring team also collaborates, so to speak, or corroborates better, then it is now in the public domain and everybody will rise up to applaud that. So we need to find that monitoring persons. If they are not already in the system, let us have those monitoring persons put in place who can now report back to the chief executive about the performances from your respective directorates and departments, and where there are obvious lapses and deficiencies, recommendations are made to ensure and guarantee efficiency and effectiveness as the case may be. So, in conclusion, I will say that work ethics is the engine room and the catalyst for growth of any organization. Any organization that does not motivate the staff well and prepare them for the challenges of the future by building their capacity is an organization certainly on the decline. But any organization positioned for the future must have a principle of growth. And in that regard, the principle of growth is that you must be ready for tomorrow. So I want to commend management for bringing you people who are obviously declared to be the future of this organization, so that we can interface and then start getting ourselves ready for tomorrow. My greatest American jurist, Honorable Justice Benjamin Cardozo, he made this quotation, and anytime I remember him, I remember that quotation. I always feel that it is something I live with my law students, especially those of them who are so inquisitive. Any country that does not prepare for its tomorrow, like I say, is on the decline. But Benjamin Cardozo said that the inn, you know, inn like hotel, the inn that shelters the night is not the end of his journey. So when you stay overnight in the hotel, that's not the end of your journey. And in reference to law, he said that the law, like the sojourner, the person that is a sojourner is the one that is visiting. The law, like the sojourner, must be ready for tomorrow. Must have a principle of growth. If your vision statement is anchored on the principle of reform, then that tells us that your vision statement is obviously hinged on the principle of growth. So you, like the sojourner, you must be ready for tomorrow in order to have that principle of growth. I thank you for listening. I can, and then we start winding down. Yes, Ali.
Presentation, I've already benefited from the beginning. I have about 2 questions, or one is maybe a recommendation. To start with,